Welcome to Hutch Custom, and this is going to be steam box building. It's going to be a super basic box that you guys can build. Anyone can build at home with some basic materials that you can pick up from your local hardware store. It doesn't have to be expensive, and it's going to do a great job. Stick around. See how I make one of these boxes. I've already got a steam box, but I want to make a bit of a smaller one because this one's a little bit big and it takes longer to heat up. Obviously it works for when I'm doing longer pieces, but I want to be doing shorter pieces as well for coffee tables and things like that. So I'm going to be making a shorter box. This is not a high-end steam box. This is a steam box that literally anybody can make. Get down to your local hardware store, get a few bits of lumber, get a few bits of extra pieces. I'm going to show you now what I got. See how I make it, see how it's done, and see how easy it is for you to bend wood as well. All right, so what do you need to build the steam box? A few things really, a little bit of hardware, and obviously you need some timber. So I've got a few pieces of these leftover ply boards that I'm going to be using. They are measuring 300 by 1950 millimeters. We're going to have an insulation type material like this. This is a standard geyser blanket insulation that I've got. It's 4 meters by 1.2 meters long. It's aluminium or aluminum, however you want to say it, and it comes with some cool tape that you can tape it together. I've got some weatherproof sealer. Now this stuff isn't the best. It helps to seal, but you have to replace this constantly. It would be better if you use something like a rubber sealer or something like that. This is a foam sealer. It works for the interim, it'll work for this video, but I generally have to replace that foam sealer every now and then because it's not really heat resistant. That actually shrinks up a little bit. You need a few dowels that you're going to be putting through your box for your wood to sit on, because you do not want your wood to be flat on any of the surfaces there. It needs to be elevated and it needs to be clear around it, so that while the steam's moving through the box, it's moving around the wood and penetrating all 4 sides of it. 2 brackets here for the door. I've got what we call a canopy clip in South Africa. So it's just a little latch. It's a pull-type latch that when you latch the door closed, it's going to give you an airtight seal. I have got some fire-resistant sealant that I'm going to do on the seam lines of the box when I join it together, just to give it a little bit more insulation on the inside and make it a little bit more airtight. I'm going to put the sealer along the edges where I join the box together, just so it gives it a little bit more of a pressurized system and keeps the steam in for longer and doesn't have to rely on the wood expanding every single time. And you need a whole bunch of screws to screw this box together. There's no fancy joinery. There's nothing spectacular about the construction method of this. So I find that just doing it like us, banging it together and having a box that actually works and that you can repair at any time is the best way forward. So let's cut the outside box first, and from the outside box we will measure the inside box. 7/8. Okay, so we got 7 sheets now, which we've got these little tabs on. I'm going to trim those off when I trim them to size, the ends as well. So let's get a pen and paper and let us just do the calculations of, with the outside box and the gap, what the inside box is going to be, so we can just trim those up straight away. Well, so we're going to have a 22 millimeter outside shell, a 22 millimeter gap, and then a 22 millimeter inside shell for the inside box. We are going to cut 256 millimeter wide by 1.9 meter long boards. The outside shell as well, which will be 300 millimeters by 1.9 meters, or 300 millimeters by 1900 millimeters at the same time. So we've got the inside 4 pieces and the outside 4 pieces all at the same time. We've got our 4 pieces cut up here for the inside of the box. So the next thing that you're going to be wanting to do is you want to drill the holes for the dowels. And because we're doing this a wraparound box, you can't just put them next to each other and drill the holes straight through. So what we do is we put the one board on the side where it's going to drill into there. Take the other side, which is going to be on top like that. Just put them together. So you've got your 22 mil space that's going to be there. We're going to clamp these together mark up our holes on the one side, and then just put them on a drill press. We're using 8mm dowels. So we're going to do one every 400 millimeters. We're going to do the bottom row about 30 millimeters from the top, and then the top row just in half, somewhere around, or just above half. So let's just clamp these two together, mark up a line across there, take it to the drill press, drill all the holes, and then we can screw this box together without putting the top on, so that we can get the dowels through and in. We're also going to put the sealant on this box. We don't have to do it on the outside skin, we're going to do it on the inside skin. So yeah, let's get these clamped up, mark the dowel positions, and get those drilled out. Flip it over. And then if we go to the center of the box, we take the center of the box. Let's just do 600, 200. We can do 1.4 and 1.8. So let's do 85. That's 2, 6, 10. And the 400 there, and then the 400 there. Drill these holes right through, and then we can start assembling the box with the sealer. This is a bit tight to drill, so I'm just going to use a hand drill. Easy as that. We're just going to pop some sealer down the edge here, and then just screw it against it one side, and then do the other side from underneath, and then we can put the dowels through. Okay. Six. Actually start. Now we can grab some dowels. All right, now that we've got our dowels in, we are going to just do the same process, putting a bead of fireproof on this side here and a bead of fireproof on that side there, and get the top closed, and then we can trim down these dowels, and that will be the inside box done. Put it on nicely there. That's it. Good job. Insulation, and I am going to wrap my box around that edge, and I'm going to use 22mm blocks to put on 2 on the ends, 2 on the middle, and 2 at the back, so that will offer us a spacer for our 300mm boards that are going to go around this straight afterwards. So let's get these on with those little blocks, and yeah, then we can put our outside skin. That's the whole box nicely sealed. Now we can start with our outside skin, because the inside skin is done and it's nicely insulated now with this cool geyser blanket. I'll put a link down below to the blanket. It was very affordable. I think it was 229 Rand or something like that. 300mm outside skin, and then we can do the back, and we can do the door on the front, and Bob's your uncle, you're done. I'm going to do this edge first, so that it lines up with the bottom. I'm just going to screw it to those other blocks. You don't need fire sealer now for this step. And that is the 2 shells of our steam box. What we can do next is we're going to put the back on. We're going to trim that out, get that nice and sealed. I might also put some sealer on that side there, and then we can work on the front. The back is literally just a back piece and a hole. Backboard on, mark it up in situ. Okay. All right, I've just put quite a bit of sealer around this middle back part just so that it gets nice, good sealing properties here at the back, because we don't want it to leak here as well. So the more sealing you got, the more airtight this whole box is, the better. Exactly. Hello! Seems to be sealed. Time for the door with some hinges, the bracket on this side here, and only after we do that will we put the insulation in. The reason you want to do that afterwards is because you get it a nice snug fit now, this one, and once you put the insulation weather seal on the inside, then that's going to compress and form a nice tight seal on the inside there. So yeah, let's just get these hinges on. Again, super simple, nothing complicated about this, super straightforward, nothing spectacular. Get the hinges on, get the latch on the other side, and then we do the weather seal on the inside, drill a hole at the back, and we can fire this bad boy up. And we've got to drill a plug on the front side as well as a pressure release. So a few more small little details, but nothing exceptional. Like I said, we're going to do a double layer here. Don't stretch it too much. Stuff will compress on itself. So that's just one strip now. So that's one strip. So let's just give this a try. Yeah, you can see that pulling nicely. Feels good. That's already pulled nice and tight. So, but I'm going to do a double layer. Like I said, it's going to compress itself. So I'm going to do a double layer here, just for safety's sake. I'm trying to overlap them now, just to avoid any obvious air gaps. The tighter the seal, the better the box. And that's it. That's pretty much the entire box done. This is operational now. Now you can see how tight that is. That's solid. That's a solid lid. That will compress over time as well, just to give that a nice seal. But I mean, that's good. That's gold. Now you're just going to want to fashion a little peg. I've just literally cut this off the back of a broom handle, shaved it down with a knife. And we're just going to drill a vent hole in the middle here. And that can go into there. It's just a nice hand fit in case this box gets under too much pressure, that will actually pop out and the steam will come there. Let's pop a hole in the top. This is just a normal Weber thermostat, so I'm just going to pop a hole in there for our temperature measurements. 3 millimeters. So let's grab a 3 mil bit in the middle, just there. There we go. Thermostat can go in. Perfect. Okay, it's lovely. So it can read the temperature inside the box. We're on the home stretch now. And the last thing we're going to do on this box is drill a hole for the actual steamer. Now, I know you're probably waiting for this, the whole video of what steamer to use. This is a clothes steamer. I have cut the end off, the little bit, the handholdy bit that you hang your clothes up and steam them. And it's got a little water tank that hooks onto the back that you need to keep filling up. But it's a simple on-off clothes steamer. It's actually got different settings, but I put it onto high every time. And this is it. You can get it from any appliance store, I guess. Just a local clothes steamer. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I try and buy a relatively inexpensive one in case it breaks. Just a normal clothes steamer and keep filling it up with water. That's the only pain in the ass, is that I want to try and figure out a way how I can. It's probably just drilling a hole in this thing and having a vat of water that can continuously trickle into there. But other than that, we're just going to measure this pipe. That is 25 mil. So I'm literally going to drill a 25mm hole in the center at the bottom, and that's it. I'm going to then fill up this steamer with water and let it cook while I make the base for this the same as I made the base for the other one. So let's just drill one more hole, and then we can get this bad boy filled up with water and let it start going and see how quickly she heats up. Just drilling halfway through so I can test the fit. Now for me that feels a little bit loose. So I'm actually going to switch down to a slightly thinner bit because I've got my pilot hole there. Just so that I've got a nice snug fit because I don't want any air escaping from there. This is a rubber hose, so it's a little bit flexy, you can squeeze it in. So I'm dropping down to a 22mm hole. You also want to cut your hose nice and short so that it doesn't lose. You want it a nice snug fit. There we go. Perfect. There we go. And I'll normally push mine in about 150mm until that goes away. That's it. Let's fill it up, put it on, and see how quickly she gets hot. Okay, so I've literally had it on for 3 minutes. Thermostat's starting to go up. Let's just check if steam, there we go. Steam is coming nicely out of this side here. So far it's working like a dream. It's tough with glasses on. And if you listen, you can hear that steam working inside there. It's almost on 50 degrees already. So it's now 1:45, 50 degrees. Let's see what it looks like in 15 minutes. Yeah, about 20 minutes in. And we're up to 93 degrees Celsius at the moment, so she's working well. I've actually found that this box is almost too airtight. So I've got to leave this thing very loose so that some steam can actually come out, or else it just backs up on the other part of the steam box and flows out the back. It's quite an interesting situation. So I've built this one a little bit too good. But yeah, so far, I mean, I'm super stoked. I'm going to put it onto its base now, and then I am going to put a piece of ash in it and actually see how this bad boy bends and take it from there. Righty, got the box now on its stand, on its base, so it can fold up next to the other one on the wall there, and we are at, this is great. This is 97 degrees Celsius, which is the most, I mean, I think I've only ever reached 90 degrees on that other box. So this one is going really well. Box is warming up nicely now as well, which is interesting that it's taken so long, which means to me is that insulation is doing a much better job than the polystyrene installation I've got in that box. So this is definitely an upgrade from the previous one. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's got wider width in the middle so that I can put more pieces in. It is a bit shorter. It's just under 2 meters short, but that's fine because I'm doing a lot of short bends at the moment. So that's great. I'm super stoked, and I'm going to pop a piece of ash in here now and see how this bad boy heats up and see how long it takes for it to warm up. Remember, for every inch or every 2.5 centimeters or 25 millimeters thick, you want to leave your piece of wood in there for an hour. It doesn't matter the width of the wood. If it's 100 millimeters by an inch, because there's contradictory terminology. If it's 100 millimeters by 25 millimeters, it's an hour. If it's 50 millimeters wide by 25 millimeters thick, it's an hour. Always based on the thickness of the wood, not the width of the wood, the thickness of the wood. So yeah, let me stick a piece of ash in here. I'm going to have to refill the box now because it's been going for quite a while, and it sounds like it might be, you start to hear when the box is run out of water. So let me just put some more water in there, stick a piece of ash in here, and then see how it bends after that. Right, so one little thing that you must try not to forget is a little drain hole at the bottom of your steam box. 8mm drill bit and a straw, and I'm just going to flip this box up, drill a hole underneath, stick the straw in so that it's got a nice exit. Your wood's going to rot if you don't put this in there so that it can just vent out all the condensation that turns into water and just drain it there. So let's just flip this up, drill a quick hole, stick the straw in, and it will be good as gold. That should be perfect. Right, I've just got an off-cut piece of ash here. It's only 10 mil thick by about 25 mil wide. So let's pop this in. I'm probably going to only need to do this for about 25 to 30 minutes. Remember, when you open this box, you want to stand back because that steam, yeah, that is a beautiful sight. Super excited. Super excited. You can hear that now. That has sealed that shut. I've actually made a notch on the top of this little pin here. And if you can see that, might go out of focus. I've made a notch on the top of this so it lets a little bit more air through. There we go. Just pushed in there a little bit, so it's got a little gap on the top now. So it's just a little regulator so that the steam can continue to roll through this box. So I'm going to leave that in for 25 minutes. I'm going to come back at 20 past 3 and let's see how this thing bends. All right, so it's been 20 minutes, 25 minutes, sorry, and we are up to 94 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to pop this out using my tongs so I don't burn my hands, and we're going to see how it bends. I mean, this is a simple test with ash, so let's see. Oh, beautiful. All right, it's been in there for a little while. Let's just see how this bends. Beautiful. Ash is super easy to bend. Obviously, this works better with straps and with the bending form. But I mean, just to be able to bend a 10 mil piece of wood like that. Oh, I just broke it there. Okay, but I mean, that's a successful bend. I can twist it. You can twist it around into all kinds of shapes. That's beautiful. I'm stoked. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments or would like to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you. Everyone's watching on TVs, which is really great. That means you guys are sitting down and actually paying attention. I love it. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. Good or bad. I've got broad shoulders. I can take it all. So it's not a stress. Thanks, guys, for watching, and stay tuned for the next build.